Hi guys, it's Gibson and welcome back to another episode of We Should Talk. I don't know about you guys, but I am definitely still struggling a little bit mentally with the daylight savings time ending. I am not ready for the sun to start setting before 5 p.m. every day. It's a little bit of an attack. The darkness is upon us. You know, it's nice to wake up to the sun in the morning, but like, whoo, the afternoons, finishing your workday in the pitch black, it's tough. It's going to take some getting used to. And so if I'm a little slow today, that is why. But this interview, I hope, can like take your mind off of everything that's happening this week. And we all know that it's a very big week for our country. But on the podcast is who I think is the funniest person on the internet, Benito Skinner, aka Benny Drama 7 on Instagram. You've definitely seen one of his videos shared on your timelines. He does amazing impressions of the Kardashians and Timothée Chalamet and the Queer Eye cast. He creates his own characters. He's done spoofs on Gossip Girl and Lizzie McGuire. He's just an all-around very talented creator. And I've been following him for several years now, and it's really been amazing to watch his profile rise. He has over 1 million followers now, and he's really just making an impact. And he's not really following the traditional comedy path. Like, he's not doing stand-up into, you know, trying out for SNL into like whatever. Like, no, like he's really creating his own path, and I love that. And so during the interview, we talked about that, sort of his rise and how he got to where he is. We talked about how celebrities have reacted to his impressions. So he's gotten to a point where Lady Gaga is resharing his Rain on Me spoof. Khloe Kardashian is commenting on his spoof Keeping Up with the Kardashians trailer. There are some celebrities who don't interact with this stuff, which is kind of telling, like maybe they should get a sense of humor. And I also talked about with him, you know, how is he monetizing this? How is he making this a business? How is he making a living off of this career? Which is, again, like not the usual rise up in comedy. And he's doing that by making Spawn, you know, all creators and influencers are doing Spawn on their Instagrams, but he does it in a way that like fits so well within his profile and his brand that you barely even notice it. And one of his latest with Captain Morgan doubled as like a critique on Spawn. It was very meta. And he's a genius. And I love talking to him, and he's very humble and has a great head on his shoulders. So it was really nice to hear from him and just hear his perspective on kind of creating content online. But before we get to that, I do, you know, by the time you listen to this, it'll have been a week since Halloween. But like Halloween is, at this point, it's like the lines are blurred. Is it a month? Is it a week? Is it a day? Is it a night? We're in a pandemic, but that did not stop people from at least dressing up. Who knows what else they were doing, and not not posting on Instagram. The Kardashians posted everything they were doing for Kendall's birthday on Instagram and their maskless party, but I'm not even going to get into that. I'm more just kind of caught up on like, we have all these celebrities out here like literally dressing up as like 5 to 6 different things each year for Halloween, right? And then they're posting these like magazine level photo shoots on their Instagrams, but they're posting them on Halloween. So that means that they hired their full glam squad, a full like, you know, photo shoot crew, whatever that involves. Like these aren't just like photo shoots that are like in front of a wall in their house. No, these are full on like in studio things. And because they're posting them on Halloween, that means that they probably took these photos like weeks ago. So like it's just like there's this level of planning and a level of perfection that is expected. Like these are flawless, pixel perfect costumes that these celebrities are churning out literally like day after day after day during Halloween. And it's just like it's gotten to a level of like, maybe it's just too perfect. You know, I sort of miss the days when like someone like Kim Kardashian could show up to Heidi Klum's Halloween party 10 years ago in a store-bought costume after having done her own makeup and just like calling it a day. Like now we just expect like these like contoured looks that are like perfectly embody some iconic moment in pop culture. And it's just like, I don't know. It's just like getting to be to a certain level where we're like, obviously none of us can compete with that. So like, why? Like, I didn't even dress up this year. I mean, it's a pandemic. I wasn't going to dress up anyway, but like, there's no competition with it. Like, it's like, there is just this like, it's just, to me, it's like a little bit too perfect. I'm not complaining. We all need something to like live out a fantasy through. We are living vicariously through some of these people these days, but like, I don't know. Sometimes I just wish that like, it didn't need to be so pristine, I guess. But anyway, that's just like my little diatribe for the day. But before we get to my interview with Benito Skinner, you know, someone who I am really happy to be back on social media is Chrissy Teigen. She obviously took a month off of social media, you know, I'm surprised it wasn't longer. Like like what she went through is unfathomable and heartbreaking. And if you haven't read her essay, actually, that she posted upon her return to social media, she wrote it on Medium, and it's just like extremely, extremely open and to the point, kind of relaying of her feelings and what happened with her and her family. And I cry reading it, honestly. It is honestly heartbreaking, but the strength that she has shown in opening up and sharing her story. And, this is something that women go through. And I think a lot of women feel shame around an experience like this. And for her to be open about that and know that and show people that they are not alone in that experience was really commendable and really brave of her. And, after she posted that, she just kind of like got to move on with what we're used to online from Chrissy Teigen. It's the cooking videos, it's the content of Luna and Miles, it's talking about reality TV. Like it was nice to have her back as a comforting presence on social media, especially at a time when Twitter is really like more of a dumpster fire than ever, and people are just like so divided. And it's so nice to have somebody like Chrissy Teigen who is just like there to make me laugh. And I've loved having her back. And it got me thinking about one of the times that I interviewed her. I think I've interviewed Chrissy 3 times in person, a couple times over the phone. One time it was actually John and Chrissy together over the phone, which was a moment. But the third time I interviewed in person, it was in a hotel suite in Midtown Manhattan. And I was sort of like waiting by the door for the interview before me to wrap up. And it was in a hotel suite. So there was a bedroom and there was a living room and a kitchen, and Christy was doing her interviews in the living room, but the bedroom door was ajar. And I heard a little voice of a little girl, and the door was open so you could see in, and it was Luna literally like going crazy because her babysitter was trying to calm her down. And Luna was like hanging off the bed with like a tablet in hand, and she was trying to get out of the bedroom to go hang out with her mom. And it was just like so funny because I felt like I was watching like an Instagram story of Chrissy's like in person. And it was honestly like a highlight. And when I interviewed Chrissy, like again, like I've interviewed her a couple times, and she literally, people always ask like, oh, who's the best person you've interviewed? Like who's the person that like whatever. And to me, Chrissy is right up there with the best of them. She lives up to the hype. She is as real gets. Like she is exactly what you want and expect from her, which is honestly a lot. Like she has built up this public profile of just being the most relatable person on the internet. And like, she's just like that in person. And I love that just shows that this is who she is. And the interview of course ascended into me just asking her a bunch of Bravo questions, like about what she thought about what was going on. That was actually earlier this year. It feels like it was 10 years ago, but I don't know. I love Chrissy. I'm so glad that she's back on social media. And, again, kudos to her for opening up about her experience earlier this fall, because that couldn't have been easy to do. And a lot of people will benefit from her sharing that story. Anyway, that's enough from me. Keep listening for my interview with Benito Skinner, aka Benny Drama 7 on Instagram, and enjoy it. It's a good one. Thanks, guys. All right, so we are here with Benito Skinner, aka Benny Drama 7 on Instagram. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you? I didn't even notice you have the Says Marjan.
Oh yeah, I got this. I know. I got it when that was announced. I was like,
oh my God, you need the final moment. Yeah. Oh my God, I'm so jealous. I don't think I have any. That's sad. I got to wear it once, but
I'm jealous of that.
Yeah, did not get to keep. Weirdly enough.
So I always refer to you as Benny Drama. And yeah. But obviously that's not your real name. Is that, do you prefer to go by one or the other?
Oh my God. I mean, it's so funny because Benny, when I chose it, I mean, I was in the closet when I chose my name. And my brother just calls me Drama. So it was like, and that was kind of a nickname that my family gave me as well, for kind of obvious reasons. And so, yeah, I mean, it's funny because Benny's more of like a pet name almost. Like people who are super close to me will call me Benny, like my sister. I mean, most people just call me Ben, which is, I always know if somebody says Benny, that maybe they're somebody who follows my work.
Like knows you on Instagram, right?
Yeah, or I'm going to turn around and see like, a family member. So yeah, I don't know. And then like, two people call me Benito. But yeah.
Love it. So you recently, during the pandemic, you moved from New York to LA, which is a big move. and it's obviously been a crazy year, and that probably has added to the craziness for you.
Yeah.
What is the most LA thing about you now since you've moved?
Oh my God, what's the most LA thing about me? That's such a good question. I do like ultimately crave juices more, and the mindset of how much a juice costs is astronomical. Like I do crave it. Like I want a juice right
Like,
now.
is there like a
if it's
max for a juice that you pay, or is there,
like
no, is
I
there
think
the limit
15
does not
is
exist?
I think 15, but honestly the limit does not exist. Like
Okay.
if I think I have a cold, I'll spend upwards of $300.
I love that. It's the LA medicine.
I
So
think that's the LA thing in me. And
it totally
also,
is.
oh God, yeah, that's probably the most LA thing. I feel like we've upped that juice budget.
I'm here for it.
Personally.
Okay, so before we get too far into it, I do want, because like I feel like I'm familiar with your story just as somebody who's followed you for a while.
Yeah.
I've read some profiles of yours, and I feel like in your Q&As you drop little hints about like sort of your background. But I'd love for you to just kind of give people listening and watching a quick like sort of Spark Notes version of sort of how you got into what you're doing and where you are now.
Yeah, so I went to school at Georgetown and I studied film and English there. And then when I graduated, I was making like some dub smashes, doing like the Kardashians.
TBT,
but
I love
yeah,
it.
TBT. I know I'm showing my age. Oh my God, I'm like 20. So I was doing that, and then I worked at this startup and I hated it, and I got fired, so I can say I hated it.
Why'd you get fired?
I think, well, they were getting rid of their tech entertainment department.
Got it.
But also I just don't think I just didn't
it wasn't
care,
for you.
obviously. Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I like editing my own videos. Like I can't do this. But it was during that time that I made like the Queer Eye parody. And I made my first like Kardashian like Snapchat parody. And at that point, like the internet, when it goes, it goes. So it just started to kind of it just picked up, and then I got fired, and then I signed to WME that same week. It was very strange. The whole thing was really lucky, but also like I just worked so hard during that time so that I could just maybe give this a full shot.
For sure.
And since then, I have not stopped. Like I just keep like I just put out a video this morning. Like I clearly still love it. So
clearly. And I think that's sort of what is really kind of special, is that like I think back to those the early Queer Eye or the early Keeping Up with the Kardashians stuff that you were doing, and like it still feels very much of that same nature, but like maybe the production value is just a little bit higher. Or like,
I mean, we can afford better wigs.
Totally.
It's like I remember that JVN wig was a little tricky. I never stole anything. I just I borrowed some stuff for a while. I think
let's put it that way.
Some like some lipsticks from CVS that were that stained my lips for like 12 years.
But you've gotten to a point where you can monetize this too. It's like you are at a point where like you're making money off this, and it's your career, and it's so, I mean, that's probably the dream for you. And I love that you also, I mean, you've gotten into sponsored content, which is like, to me, like I see so many creators and influencers who just do it and it sticks out like a sore thumb in their feeds. It's like, it's not cohesive. It's not authentic. And I feel like when I see a video that is sponsored from you, it feels just very much in line with everything else that you're putting out.
Thank you.
Talk to me about your approach to like, to these partnerships that you're doing, to the sponsored content that you're doing, because again, it does flow really nicely, I think, with everything else.
Thank you. I do pride myself on only doing things that I love the creative on, and brands that I respect, and that I think want to work with a creator. And it's not just like, okay, just let us take over your feed for a day and we'll put something out. Places that want to hear my ideas and are open to obviously still fitting within my work. So, I'm not totally PG, and obviously the work is going to be like more gay and campy and over the top. So any brand that is down for that and is like, in the first meeting, not telling me 15 times what they want me to do, and instead is curious what I want to do. That's when I know it's going to work, and that it's going to feel, authentic. And I never want my page to feel like a big commercial, but obviously like when you watch TV, like we have to pay rent.
Sprinkle
So
ads in there. Yeah, exactly.
there needs to be a few ads because like
Yeah.
I need to pay for the wigs. So yeah, I do. It's great to hear that because that's what I want. I mean,
It's like,
you come to my page for comedy, so even the ads need to be funny.
exactly. I was about to say, like, even if the ads can make you laugh, then they're doing their job.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I feel the recent one that I saw was the Captain Morgan sliced apple spice rum
yeah.
one. That was like the fake wedding. That was a
Oh
sponsored
my
wedding. And
God.
it was just like
Yeah.
very tongue in cheek and also felt like kind of like in a meta way, like a critique on sponsored content as well. Like
Oh, totally.
like
Yeah.
talk to me about sort of working on that, because that feels like it's a perfect example of what you do.
It really was because they approached me and obviously marketing during this time is different, so they couldn't do your average like billboards, I believe, or like a full kind of physical moment. So it was about being on the internet and allowing different creatives from different fields to like take over. And the whole thing was that it was kind of based around making fun of #ad. And so I liked that from the get because I was like, I think that the way that things are advertised and the kind of sim characters that we have created online, the way that we market things is so weird. Like how people are holding a product in their bathroom while they're like sitting down on the top. I'm like, this is all just so weird.
Right.
Like I'm like, honestly, I would just prefer a photo of the product.
And
like,
we're so used to it too.
We're
it's
so
like,
used to it. I'm like, yeah, of course you're holding like mouthwash on your bed. Like what? Like I'm just like, that is so when they told me that they wanted to kind of play into that and that I could kind of be that influencer character, and also, the regular comment, which is when you're doing an ad, is that you're a sellout. Like that is such the kind of the natural thing that I think some people gravitate towards. So it's like, okay, well, what if we just flip that on its head and I'm not a sellout? I'm like the biggest sellout ever. I'm giving up my, like, what is supposed to be an important day in my life for an ad. So it was just so much fun making with them.
yeah.
And the whole, I love how it turned out. It's absolutely bizarre and like, so it's still like very much within my world, but
For sure.
I like, there were still some comments that were like, I genuinely still don't know, like, is this an ad? Like, are you sure? Like,
it's like you're so clear about it and you're so over the top about it that it's like, wait, it makes you double, and it makes you like,
because
sort of
everyone else is kind of like they're kind of tricking you,
totally.
And like, and then I always like, I'm like, I do want you to know that it's still an ad because like obviously I'm not trying to be
yes,
like
exactly sketchy,
yeah. But yeah, the whole process was so funny. Yeah,
good.
I'm proud of that bit.
And I feel like, so you're sort of at this point of your career where you're doing all this great stuff online, and I feel like I've seen hints that you're like working on some sort of pilot or something. Am I wrong about that?
No, that's right.
What is sort of like the next phase of your career for, like, ideally, or what is sort of next for you?
So yeah, that pilot, I'm taking that out in the new year. I'm really excited about it. I have a few partners who I'm with right now on it. I don't know at what I'm allowed to reveal, but yes, I do have some like producing partners with it, and I'm super excited. And they are too. So I think it's a little bit of a different thing that people are maybe expecting.
Okay.
It's more of like a comedy drama. It's not a sketch show. Not that that's not also on my radar, and something that I would really love to do.
Of course.
And obviously, I toured a live show, God, now it feels like absolutely 25 years ago. But so I just did a Halloween virtual show to kind of make up for the fact that I couldn't tour this year, and give people something a little bit more elevated than what I usually make, but also, still it's like I'm filming on my green screen at home because I can't really go to a studio or anything. Right. So I think that, but even hopefully more elevation.
Bigger, yeah. I mean, but that was pretty major though. I mean, you're literally reenacting Hocus, like you're reenacting a Haim music video, like dressed as the Hocus Pocus, which is with the two Haim sisters. Like
it was very like, there definitely did come a moment where I was like, okay, how did this happen?
Right.
Like the whole thing was like so joyous the whole time, and I hope people felt that watching it. Like it was.
When you worked with like them or Charlie XCX, is like, are they already fans of yours? Like, are they like familiar with your work already? Have you been connected already?
Yeah, so they were familiar with my work, and also, it was so funny because it was like a collab of it is obviously their music, but the like kind of general concept, I like kind of soft pitched it to them.
Yeah.
And they were so down and really wanted to lean into it being like a type of like Benny drama video,
For
like
sure.
a specific type of editing and obviously some kind of storyline. But it was just like absolute heaven. I mean, like we stand Haim and Charlie
Oh,
XCX for a
absolutely. In
reason.
this
Like
house. Yeah.
they're just like literally like they just absolutely are perfection on camera, and those songs go so hard that
I love
my
it.
job was super easy, but it was like so, you know,
It's
not
like,
to be
I
earnest
feel,
ever, but dreams came true.
no,
Like,
we're not
truly.
earnest here, but I feel
Yeah,
like,
never.
but it is still like, okay, like that is such a wild situation that like 3 years ago, you
So
probably would have been
insane.
like, that's such bullshit. Like that's never happening. You know what I mean? Like that is
Ever.
crazy. Yeah.
Like I danced to Now I'm in It in the car for my first like car choreo
Yes.
video, like in November. And if you would have showed me that video now, I would have been like, what? Like
Yeah,
who? I would
totally.
have been like, who set that up? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I don't know. It
Well,
was, yeah.
and that gets into sort of like, I mean, you do. I'm presuming that a lot of your most popular stuff are some of the impressions that you do. The
Yeah.
Kardashians are obviously, people love talking about that. The
Yeah.
Gaga "Rain on Me" video,
Oh my
Noah
God, so much
Centineo,
fun.
Timothy Chalamet. Like there's so many amazing impressions that you've done over the years.
Thank you.
And then it's gotten to a point though where it's like some of those celebrities are interacting
Did
with
you
that
see it?
content.
Yeah.
I particularly remember like a Khloe Kardashian comment. I
Yeah.
remember Gaga reposted. Like,
Mhm.
is that also so surreal for you to be like, oh, like they are,
Mhm.
like they're noticing it and they're not,
Mhm.
and they're like appreciating it as well?
I think, yeah. And also, it's hard. Like, I can never think about it too much, or it just
For
gets
sure.
too, like,
Yeah,
my head will explode.
of
Like, I
course.
can't actually think about Gaga watching that video. Like, that is so much for me. But it's like, I grew up in Boise, Idaho. Like, I felt like that, no one knew also like what was inside of me. And I felt so confined and so small, I guess, and that no one would ever know, what I love doing and
Mm,
maybe talents that I had. Like, I don't know that. So that I think kind of freaks me out sometimes, that it's like, oh, that person has now seen this, and that person that has like so much influence on me and my work has now maybe had like one joyous minute with me, is like,
hmm.
that is too much. I can't really think about it more
Yeah,
than that. It's
for sure.
bizarre, but it is
Yeah,
kind of scary sometimes, because I'm like, I hope they know that this comes from a place of love.
right.
If
Well,
the impression is a bit
it's like
more
It's like
biting.
people like Gaga and Chloe obviously have senses of humor, and so it's like it's nice
Yeah,
that they can like actually get it and be
totally.
like, okay, he's not
Yeah,
making fun of us, he's fans of us, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Some I hope, but I don't know if everyone I've done
Have you ever
feels that
gotten
to me.
that?
I've never gotten like a full on moment, but I'm curious. I mean, there are some that I'm like, I just made so many. It would be crazy to me if no one in your life had
Had
ever
sent it to
not
you,
brought up one of these. So I'm like, okay, maybe you don't like it, which is like,
right?
which is kind of heartbreaking, but also that's my job. Like it is kind of my job.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah.
It's also like maybe just get a thicker skin. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
I'm like, you know what? It's all in good fun. And I know, like, I've never done anyone that I don't like, I'm not doing an impression of somebody that I don't watch the work of, or it's like,
totally.
it takes so
You're
much
paying attention to
time.
them. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. It takes so much time to like do an impression that I'm like, no, I'm not going to sit and watch interviews of someone I don't care about. Like, clearly, I watch the Kardashians and
Exactly.
I'm a
Yeah,
fan.
exactly. You
Like,
pick up,
I
yeah.
know too much. Yeah.
Is there
Yeah.
somebody that you like that you haven't nailed yet, that you sort of want to nail, that you haven't posted about? Like, are there people that you're like, fuck,
Yeah.
like I wish I could get that right?
Oh my God. Okay. For a while it was Billie Eilish, but then I finally did her, and that
Yeah,
was really
nailed it.
fun.
Hmm.
And then, oh my God, if there's like one, Lindsay Lohan, I tried to do for a while, but it's really hard. Who else? Trying to think if there's any lately. It's like, it is so hard too to do one and then not know. Like, sometimes people just won't know who that person is, and you're like, am I in my own bubble?
Right. Hmm.
It's like,
You're
and I
questioning
think
it.
and I
Yeah.
think I am in my own bubble at times, where I'm like, wait, what? Not everybody
Hmm.
knows who, like James Charles is. Like, that
Right. Exactly.
kind of
Exactly. Imagine
yeah,
that.
I'm like, okay, dad, like fucking Google it.
Okay, boomer.
Okay,
Yeah,
this
exactly.
is helpful. I need to think of more. I don't know
Okay.
if I
Well,
have
because
anybody
I also
necessarily
feel
on my
like
radar.
you also do like a lot of character,
Yeah, yeah.
like Lizzie McGuire or like
Mhm.
I don't know, Gossip Girl, like
Yeah.
sketches that you do. Like
Oh
there's
my
still
God,
so
my
many other
faves.
characters out there that you can do as well, which is
Yeah. Right. I'm like, there are a few, maybe like an Emily in Paris moment,
oh,
but I don't know if
I
I
think you need to
could.
give the people what they want. That would be
Yeah,
pretty
but I'm like, I
amazing.
don't even know if I don't know what hers is that specific. Yeah,
It's
I don't
more of
know.
like the whole show, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I need to hit a stylist for that.
Hmm.
A lot of lyrics. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe soon. We'll see.
Yeah.
Maybe an Emily in Paris Christmas moment.
Oh wow. And now I'm just like
Yeah,
dreaming
why
about
not?
that.
Yeah.
So I feel like okay, so you have really like carved out a lane for yourself. That's really kind of like that. I mean, there's a lot of people that do impressions, but like not like you
Mhm.
do them.
Thank you.
And like I'm thinking about sort of like okay, Chloe Feynman, who you've worked with in
Yeah.
the past,
Yeah, she's the
she's
best.
taken the route of she jumped to she got on SNL and she's killing
Mhm.
it.
Yeah.
But I feel like you're kind of, I mean, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you're
Mhm.
on like sort of like a different path than
Yeah.
like sort of that
Yeah.
classic comedy path.
Yeah.
Do you like think about that and just sort of like, because now there are so many ways to make it in the comedy
Totally.
world, whereas I think before it was more like, okay, you're gonna do stand up, then you're gonna try to get
Mhm.
an SNL, and then like kind of
Yeah.
break out from there. Do you ever think about sort of like the bigger picture of that for you?
Yeah, I think it's not that I ever didn't think about those things. It was just like I always want to make sure that what I'm doing is absolutely what I'm like feel so good about and I'm
Right.
super and I know that I would give all of it into it. So I think what is so great about the internet is that there are so many different ways to do it now and we can each kind of carve out our own specific path and our own
Mm-hmm.
specific career that we want. My close friend and a stand-up genius, Mary Beth Barone, she
Mm,
has consistently said, like I don't really think about some of the other things people are doing because like I have such a career in my head that no one else would necessarily want, and it feels so specific to me.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like I feel like I've been lucky in that I get to try all these things on the internet, and then it's allowed me to get on a stage and do some of that stuff live. But now I think I'm really interested in being a character longer than a sketch,
Yeah.
and kind of diving into that and seeing what that looks like, and for it to be a little bit more of a mixture of comedy and drama. I
Mm-hmm.
think is
For
is
sure.
what is what excites me. But then also elevating some of this to a level that's really high, and we can have a special guest pop in and it be Drew Barrymore and she's
Yeah.
actually there. Like that's so fun for me.
Exciting.
So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's been, I mean, I've loved seeing so many people that came up on the internet like just shine and be able
Mm-hmm.
to be a Chloe and have, people watch every Saturday. I'm like, that just is exactly where she should be. It's amazing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think, but before we wrap, I feel like another thing that sort of like adds to what you do is that you clearly also have a passion for fashion. Like you like
Oh,
clearly like,
absolutely, babe.
you know what I mean? Like you clearly like really enjoy the look part of it
Oh
and
yeah,
just
it's
like
my favorite part.
the whole production part of it. Talk to you
Yeah.
about sort of like leaning into that aspect of it and really getting to have fun with the looks.
Yeah, I feel like that's been something that has been the most fun to elevate and also work with people I really love. Like, so for the Captain Morgan thing, I needed Benita to be in like a fun little green because I wanted everybody in like lime green.
Uh-huh.
And I hit up my friend and stylist Chris Horan, and he found this top for Benita, and then I chose with my boyfriend Haley's like bridesmaid's dress, like what that was gonna look like, and then for the signs in the zodiac, I told Chris, like, I kind of want all of them to be in like full like runway. I want kind of for no
Yeah.
reason them to be in like full stunts for this video,
Why the fuck not?
just to
Yeah.
like have fun with it and be like these characters, and also play into the bouginess of some of the characters.
Yeah.
Like how a Virgo and an Aries would definitely spend a lot of money on their outfit. So like maybe we'll amp it up. And
Let's
I'm
do
like,
it
maybe we
too.
won't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe we won't get this outfit from a thrift store. Maybe we'll like do the full look. But I think both work and are really fun. So yeah, it's always been like fun and kind of a fun Easter egg for anybody who's watching to maybe like see those details because they're fun for me, but I think they do hopefully add to the video. And in any case, they add to like my enjoyment of making it. So
For sure. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, before we go,
yeah.
I would love if you could do a little Stormy for us.
Oh my God, of course. Oh my God. Wait, I hope I'm not rusty.
No,
okay.
Come on.
Okay, it's been a while. Okay. Stormy. Yeah, okay, I can still do it. Good.
Just made my life.
Okay.
Love it.
Oh my God. Okay, stop. Yeah, you're
but before we go, where can people follow you? What else? What do you want people? Where can people see your stuff? What do you want to plug?
Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at Benny Drama 7, and then my YouTube channel is just Benito Skinner for some of like longer sketches, or if you want to like put it up on your TV or let it be big. And yeah, I'm kind of Benny Drama 7 everywhere, and kind of have fun on each platform. And yeah, you're gonna see a lot of costumes, a lot of wigs. Yeah,
Can't wait
this
for
was so
what's
much
next.
fun.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so. Have a good weekend. Good to
Of
talk
course.
to you. Yeah.
Yes. Mwah.
Bye. For more stories from In the Know, go to intheknow.com. You can also follow In the Know on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and find me, Gibson Johns, on Instagram and Twitter at Gibsonoma. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.